For as long as I could remember, there have been three video games that had a massive impact on me: Pokemon Blue, Sonic 2, and the topic of this video, Super Mario Bros. I have many memories of playing this game on various consoles from the NES and Game Boy Color to most recently on the Switch. However, I have a huge confession to make. I have never played it to completion, or any NES game for that matter. I have many reasons for never completing it, but I guess it all boils down to the fact that I am simply not that skilled at the game. The farthest I have ever gone is the beginning of the 8th world, I think. However, despite that, this game is one of my all time favorites, and since this is the 35th anniversary of the game, I thought it would be an excellent way to introduce the channel's 80s April month. Before getting into the finer details of this game, let's dive into the title's history and its impact on the video game industry at the time. Now, as a bit of background, between 1983 and 1985, the industry was an absolute mess due to the video game crash's aftermath. I'm going to simplify this as much as possible, but if you want to learn more, I would highly recommend looking at Gaming Historian's video on the topic. But simply put, due to an oversaturation of consoles, games, and a lack of quality control, most notably titles such as the Atari 2600 ports of Pac-Man and E.T., consumers and retailers were turned off by the mere concept of a video game. However, in 1985, a Japanese entertainment company known as Nintendo revitalized the industry when they released the NES store shelves. As the pack-in game, they released a little game with their relatively new mascots, Professor Hector and Rob the Robot. Just kidding, just kidding. I am, of course, talking about the Mario Brothers. Originally, the game was envisioned as a run and gun platformer with Mario riding a dinosaur, concepts that would later be reused in future games, and the latter of which being reworked into the Yoshi character we all know and love today. However, designer Shigeru Miyamoto decided to scale back and simplify the concept, and we are forever thankful that he did. The game would go on to become the fifth best selling game of all time and led to countless re releases on future Nintendo consoles. Matter of fact, my first experience with this game was on one of those re releases when I was 5, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe for the Game Boy Color. This game has you controlling the title characters in their quest to save Princess Peach from King Bowser's clutches. Throughout their quest, they receive help from power-ups such as size-enhancing mushrooms, flowers that allow them to shoot fire from their hands, and stars that give them invincibility, along with more colors than a bad DeviantArt OC. However, Mario and Luigi do not traverse through the kingdom unopposed. Along their path, Bowser constantly sends enemies such as Goombas, Koopas, Spinies, and Lake-Toos to impede their path. If the two are hit by one of these enemies, they'll either revert to their base form or lose a life. Players can choose to traverse the entirety of each world, or they can utilize certain shortcuts known as warp zones. These allow you to skip certain levels and even entire worlds, substantially cutting the playthrough. I actually confessed to using these when I was younger, and I can imagine my uncle is going to give me a lecture on using these shortcuts once he sees this video. Controlling the brothers is so easy, even a small toddler could pull it off. Pressing left and right turns Mario and Luigi in their respective direction. Pressing A is jump, and holding B allows them to run. The brothers will jump higher depending on both their momentum and how long you press the A button while moving as well. While gameplay is simple and accessible to younger players, it can also wrap up in difficulty rather quickly. Don't expect to breeze through the game. You will find yourself losing life after life after life, and so on. I should know, considering I've been trying to beat it since I was 5. One would think that with fantastic gameplay, accessibility, and a clear objective, that this game is absolutely flawless. Unfortunately, flawless is not the best word in this situation. While they are not as apparent, there are a couple of issues peppered throughout in terms of gameplay. As I mentioned previously, the learning curve ramps up dramatically after the first couple of worlds, leaving very little time to learn the necessary gameplay mechanics. Additionally, and I understand this also depends on the speed one is controlling the character as well, Mario's jump animation lacks weight and is somewhat floaty. However, the true key to overcoming these flaws entirely depends on the player's skill and the precise timing of their platforming. For the seasoned veteran, these flaws will have little impact on the player. However, for the beginner, it may be a frustrating experience and turn them off, or in the case of someone I know, almost breaking their controller from frustration. Hashtag RipWiiRemote. Overall, how one chooses to approach the game is entirely on them, since it is adaptable to a large variety of playstyles. If you like to take it slow, you are more than welcome to do so, along with going as fast as possible, the latter of which is actually my personal style. You can also decide to play by yourself or with someone else. It is a game that still holds up to this day and is a perfect choice for those just getting into gaming or those looking for a good challenge. Matter of fact, it's the challenge that constantly attracts me to this game time and time again, and I hope that someday I can complete it. And when that day comes, you will all be the first to know. That is all for this week's review, so please be sure to like and subscribe as always, and please give me some feedback in the comments below so I can improve. Now it's time for this week's questions. What do you think of Super Mario Bros., and what is your favorite retro game? Also, what are some other things you would like to see me review? Again, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.